Welcome to Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast where we wonder just what the hell Worf did to the Enterprise E. I'm Lars.
And I'm Patrick, and yeah, they made him the butt of the jokes again. Yay! Get to it.
In this episode, we're discussing and reviewing the 9th episode of the 3rd and final season of Star Trek Picard entitled Vox. Join us again this week is our good friend from the land down under from the podcast Trek Trav. Please welcome back Trek Trav.
Yay! I should talk more Australian while I'm on this podcast this week.
Yeah, no,
Bloody oath.
no Australian. You're Australian, mate.
Australian. No, I don't say that.
After this, we're only one episode away from saying goodbye to whatever generation this ends up being in the annals of Star Trek lore. And will somebody please take the Star Trek sound effect library away from the showrunners?
Don't worry, that's after this next episode. That's after the last episode, so yay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get words that don't sound like I want to punch somebody right in the dick for this episode. But we're going to get to it, so let's just jump into the spoilers and let me run through this show.
All right.
Okay, so we open the mystery box. Finally, he's a fucking Borg. That's it.
Yay!
There it is. So after everybody gets all weird about it, Jack gets all pissy, takes over a couple guys, gets in the shuttle, takes off, and goes to get fucking assimilated. He's assimilated. Yay. Meanwhile, the Titan goes to Frontier Day, where we get cool bunch of Easter eggs. Yeah, you have to pause that screen and look at it, and it's an awesome list of ships with names that you'll find. But we find Admiral Shelby, her first appearance since Best of Both Worlds. Best of Both Worlds. I cannot talk tonight. And we find out that they networked the entire fleet, like they did back in Battlestar Galactica before that went to shit.
Yeah, how well did that work for them?
Spoiler alert, it's shit. So, Jacko the Borg auto-simulates everybody like under 25, which includes both of LaForge's girls and everybody else on the bridge and most of the ships. And they start killing everybody. They fucking fridge Shelby. We get her a speech. Picard, oh no, what's bad? Cuts out, then we cut back to her so she gets shot. So the crew has to run. They leave 7 of 9 and Raffi to hold things as Shaw gets slaughtered. They killed Shaw. Time to riot. So they get a
Grumpy
so
Daddy.
So these fleets assimilated by the Borg. Picard and the OG TNG crew, minus Wesley, race off in a shuttle, go to Geordi's Fleet Museum, where we get to find they got the D.
So what you're saying is they got the D twice in this episode. First for killing Shaw, and then seeing the actual 1701D.
Yeah.
So,
Can I just say, the one thing I really love is the D. The D is my favorite thing.
And you're not talking about
this whole
the Bride.
episode. In both ways, the D is my favorite thing. We won't go to that. I don't want to go straight to the ending of the episode, which is literally the best part of the episode.
Yes. Shaw's death kind of ruined that one for me, and Shelby's death.
Yeah.
So
let's start off with let's kind of unpack a little bit the thing that we should have known. Like we should have known they were leading us up the garden path. With Jack and the mystery boxes, because they're always like, we've got
back to Borgtown.
Yeah, we've got the changelings, we've got the Pa wraiths, we've got we've got everything, and of course we're like, what is it? And even like today, this morning, like I realized I had to check something out. So I asked Patrick. I said, look, here's the only spoiler I want you to give me. I said, was the Pa wraith thing a red herring? Yes or no? He's like, yes, total red herring. I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. So of course I should have known that everything you saw, like there was no way, absolutely no way they were going to make this about what we thought it was going to be about. It was always going to be about something. They drop these little hints, these little nuggets, and they're like, oh yeah, it could be this. Or
it tied to the Irmotic syndrome.
Yeah, and you're just like,
Look,
in the end,
they took that part out of Picard's brain.
Yeah, I'm
I understand why they chose the Borg as the final villain, because they're the biggest Borg of TNG. What I don't understand is 8 episodes of the Changeling stuff. Like it's I get the changelings were a big villain, but what you've done is gone, oh, the changelings are a big villain, and the big bad might be something amazing, and instead we got it swapped out for the Borg, of which we've seen a lot of in Voyager and obviously TNG as well. And it just felt a bit like me, like, are you telling me that the only things that mattered in this entire series were the Jack storyline and the crew getting back together? That was it. No, the changelings mean nothing now.
Yeah,
And Jack's off the table because he's now assimilated or some shit. But I'm sure he'll suddenly magically fix that.
I want to see, like, I would love to see some continuation of at least the storyline, regardless of whether it's in, you know, it's in the under the auspices of Picard or anything like that. It could be something completely new in the 25th century Trek line. And you know, but I'd love for them to go back through the wormhole and go back to the founder homeworld. Like, listen here, fuckers. Like, let's say,
control your shit.
yeah. They fucking. You see somebody push the camera out of the way, and you just hear screams off the camera.
The one thing I did enjoy about the Borg thing is number one, Alice Krieg is clearly the Borg Queen again, and she was in First Contact and Endgame.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard her voice, I've gone, ooh, that's a bit sexy. The thing that I'm a little worried about is they didn't show her face. And if they're going to try and make this Borg Queen the same one from First Contact, I'm going to be like, no, that doesn't work. She's dead.
Yeah, but didn't they reuse? Didn't Alice Krieg appear in episodes of Voyager as the Borg Queen, and those took, like, canonically speaking, those took place after the events of First Contact?
Yeah, well, Endgame had Alice Krieg return, even though Suzanne Thompson had been playing her through the rest of the series. And although they don't really explain it, so and three-dimensional thinking is what everyone brings up. I had a problem with it back then, so I kind of have a problem with it now.
Well,
Problem is Borgatti.
I had a big problem with the way they ended Voyager, anyways, with the giant reset button. But still, I mean, I can totally understand what you're saying, and I mean, yeah, I heard Alice Krieg's voice. I'm like, oh, so it's gonna be that one again. It's got to be some sort of amalgamation. It has to be if they want. I mean, well, actually, you know what? After watching this entire season and seeing every little gotcha they pulled on us, you know, it doesn't have to be anything. It's going to be whatever Telly Metalis says it's going to be. And in some ways, it's fine. I mean, look, it's their show. Let them do it. We're just along for the ride. They control the narrative. But for us, we're like, look, shit's got to make sense.
And it stopped making sense. I will give credit, though. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go real quick then. Yeah, the one thing is they did at least explain why Picard back in First Contact was hearing the Borg anyway, because basically they wrote it into his code, and then it got into transporters, and now all the youngins are infected, and yeah.
Can we just refer? Can we just refer to the whole Borg DNA thing being in the transporter code? We'll just call it the space COVID.
Yeah, it's space COVID. Yeah, that.
Funnily enough, that is the most original idea for the Borg that they've had in a long time, though. Like, they talked about them putting nanoprobes in the atmosphere of Earth. They've talked about, like, this stuff, and they never happened with the Borg. So it's kind of a smart way to make them assimilate without sort of secretly. The thing is, what I don't get is why are the Borg... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Why are the Borg covered in little black veins now? That really annoys me.
That's because they've all done space meth.
Yes, space meth.
Yeah, I mean, so to that end, you know how basically Data is now in, you know, fully on emotional, almost nearly indistinguishable from human Data is in this positronic body. And he's, you know, basically, because I'm sure at some point, you know, Brent Spiner says, look, guys, I'll come back, but there's no fucking way I'm putting all that makeup on every day. And there's no, like, I just want to I'll put the contacts in which is cool. It finally lets me look cool, but I'm not
Little
putting that.
sex chip.
I'm not putting that makeup on every day, and I want to be able to like just be me. I mean, if there's any way I could just walk around in my pajamas and slippers all day, I'd love it. But if not, I'll at least no makeup. So he is this basic. He's like the guy. He's not the android, or as Seven called him, the robot in this episode. He is basically, he's like Data, your next door neighbor, and I think now they know what has gone on and how all this came to be. I just would love there be a scene that was filmed and ended up on the cutting room floor of Data pulling Picard aside saying, so, that whole bit we had a chance to get rid of the Borg by uploading that equation or that mathematical problem with Hugh, and you said no. Bet you're feeling pretty fucking stupid now, aren't you?
Well, the Borg kind of used their plan, which is quite funny in a way. But Picard's doing a lot of blaming himself for Jack and everything this season anyway. So,
which is why they waited 8 episodes before. Oh, now we figured it out suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they found all that code and shit after 8 episodes of everything else, knowing for 8 episodes there's weird shit going on with Jack, and they weren't able to trigger it till then. Deanna shows up and they keep the mystery box closed for the end of last episode, and then this episode she opens the mystery box, then runs out, and then they finally reveal it. Because why would we? Why do they just keep doing this shit?
Marina Sirtis had one thing to do this season, and that is telepathically engage with Jack, and that's her entire one thing. Now she's in the background, and she'll make a few comedy lines.
Probably. Yeah.
On the plus side, at least she had more to do actively in this episode than she did in, I think, 7 seasons of TNG, where basically she got mind raped every season.
My best performance by Marina Sirtis is still Nepenthe. I think when I saw her act in that, I'm like, where was this acting for 7 years on TNG?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just because they wrote her shit every season. The only time she got any betters when Captain Jellicoe came aboard and said, "Put on a uniform, bitch."
Hey, what the fuck is this? What do you call this?
Suddenly she became almost a competent officer. Wouldn't let her fly the ship ever again. I was almost afraid when they got on the D that she was going to fly the ship.
Yeah. Well,
so
let's kind of wind ourselves back to the specific Frontier Day Easter eggs, because, of course, this entire season has been replete with Easter eggs. I mean, there have been callbacks and nods to different movies and series and everything you can think of. I mean, to be honest with you, of course, now that we are in the business end of the season, everything that are in the end credits makes sense. The musical notes from Pop Goes the Weasel, the
Borg thing,
yeah, the Shrike, showing the specific area of the Titan showing critical damage that happened way back in episode 1 or 2. And of course the choice behind using the First Contact theme. Of course, I mean, we all just assumed that it was just part of
because it was good shit.
Of the Easter eggs of the entire season, and now everything in that the end credit sequence makes sense. The Klingon cloaking device from the Bounty. I mean, you name it, it all makes sense. And then, of course, along the way, we see things that have been established on other platforms. We see ships that are, of course, nods to different people and different actors and different characters, and this is no different. If you freeze frame on that shot from Space Dock, that when they get there on Frontier Day, or as they're getting ready to head there, if you freeze frame there and look at all those ships, I mean, there's some amazingly cool stuff. Of course, there's one for the USS Drexler, named for our recent interviewee Doug Drexler. Of course, there was also the USS Tourango, which was pretty freaking sweet. He's the fan who designed the what class was it? What the Titan, the original Titan. I don't remember what class it was. I'm drawing a blank on it, and I feel stupid for it. But still, he got a ship named for him.
All I remember is the
USS
original
Akuta?
Titan was
Oh, the Akuta as well.
Yeah.
the original Titan in the books. Like I read the Star Trek Titan books, was an amazing ship.
Oh, I remember that.
That's why I don't like the Titan in this series, because it's just your stock standard ship. Whereas the original Titan had like more alien crew members. It was much more diverse. It was obviously it's a book. They can't afford to alien it up.
Oh
but-
yeah. Well, I mean, in fact, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I remember there being a scene where they talk about that the Cation crew members had to eat separately from the rest of the crew, because the Cations are feline and they are practically feral when it comes to their eating habits.
Yeah.
I don't think they got replicated meat. They had to have real meat, and it had to be raw, and they had to be segregated while they're eating, because they ate like fucking animals. I mean,
those
like
books
wild
were
animals.
really good.
Yeah.
Versus Lower Decks to Anna just eating nachos. Shit.
Or shacks. Eating shacks.
The Enterprise F was actually designed by a fan as well, which is what I think. If I was that fan, you'd be geekgasming in your pants.
Oh, yeah.
Because your fan design is officially canon now. Like that'd be so great.
Oh yeah, that dude
Yay.
must have been squirtling.
Showed up
jiggly-
and Shelby got killed on it. This game.
Yeah.
I'm a little pissed.
Well, actually, and that's the other thing is what was really cool about the Enterprise F is that having played Star Trek Online, having dealt with Captain Sean, the Andorian captain of the Enterprise F, I wish they would have had him on there instead of Shelby.
Well, they had to shoot Shelby dead, so
They could have done that
Made it
anywhere. I mean, they could have just dragged her out into the in the middle of the bridge and said, "Oh, this is Shelby. Oh, yeah, this is the one from Best of Both Worlds Parts 1 and 2." Yeah, no,
the expert on the Borg that just got shot by Borg.
yeah.
And they pointed out in the episode that she was the expert on the Borg, and why would she do this?
And she signed off on it.
Because she wouldn't do this. You've just put her there.
And she signed off on turning the fleet into a network.
Yeah, it'd be
Well,
funny. It'd be
That
funny
was last season, in season 2, remember? Because the Borg takes control of everything anyway. So we heard about that in season 2, I believe.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing is in season 2 of Picard. Yes, the Borg technically tried to take over the Stargazer, but it wasn't for nefarious purposes. It was actually an attempt to be able to network the fleet to deal with the convenient catastrophic event that shows up in the very last episode. But
Yeah.
in like the dying minutes of the last episode. But still, one thing that kind of I thought about a little bit later on in the day is maybe Shelby is a changeling. And that might explain why she signed off on all this shit.
Maybe. That would make more sense.
It just,
Well, she didn't flicker when they shot her, so
yeah,
See,
whatever.
my theory with the episode was that they took Picard's body so they could reanimate it to become Locutus. That was my theory. That's what I thought was going to happen. It might still happen, but I think that they've sort of gone a different route now.
To be honest with you, when I found out that they had taken his body from the Daystrom Institute, I just thought they were a bunch of raging necrophiliacs.
That would be the change.
then they would have taken Kirk's body.
No.
Maybe not. They want to stay disease free.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, and in fact, look, it's Picard and his reanimated dead body, Dickard.
so
Engage.
let's keep this going. Thoughts on the Shaw death.
I'll let you guys go on that one because I've got a deep dive on that one, and I don't want to just talk through the entire episode.
I think I vented most of my stuff, so
To me, this series, as far as new character, obviously he's the only prominent new character, but I love the fact that he was a grumpy bastard. I love the fact that he didn't really get geeky until he saw Geordi. I think him and Jerry Ryan have been highlights of Star Trek Picard in terms of characters. And the actor has been in Star Trek before, but you wouldn't be able to tell. He was in Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah.
Um,
Was he not one?
but
He was a Vulcan officer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Vulcan officer. But in this series, like, I don't know, I love grumpy old men characters like House and that, like, just guys who are a bit of an asshole, but you kind of get where they're coming from. So I was really annoyed when they just killed him and gave him the 7 of 9 line, and it was just like, okay, there we are.
That part was good. His death, we riot.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing: is, I mean, I think I went on record and right from the very beginning saying that I thought he was an asshole and like, what are they going to do with this guy? And I really don't like him all that much. But like immediately when we had the scene earlier in the series when they're all in 10 forward, which thankfully they stopped using them in the last handful of episodes. Although I think they kind of got their money's worth on that hallway on the Titan, because I'm pretty sure that every fucking part of the ship is accessible by the area where we see Jack's red door.
The whole series is like other than the Enterprise D, the whole series is 4 sets.
Yeah.
That's where they save the money to get the actors
Because they
back.
need to recreate the D.
Yeah.
Well,
they needed
We'll only get to see the bridge because they didn't have money to put in the other sets.
Probably not. But I was like when they had that scene where we found out what happened to him as a younger officer, and you still really started to identify with what kind of situation his character found himself in, and how you could identify with him, much in the way you could identify with Sisko's character, having to talk to Picard, knowing that the very person who was responsible for your wife's death is sitting across the table giving you orders. Yeah, I mean, it's completely understandable why Shaw felt the way he did. So you started to empathize with him as you go along, and you started to see like this guy is doing stuff where you're like, okay, maybe he's not such a bad guy after all. Maybe he's got some elements to him that you can respect. And then
But he's still an asshole.
He's just a dipshit from Chicago. I mean, I still want, like, instead of like one of those shirts that says disco, I still want, like, I want one now that says dipshit from Chicago. Or even like maybe we just have a ship called the Chicago and we'll put like CAGO on there, Cago, and it'll be a nod to Liam Shaw, or fuck it, just Shaw, or Liam, like, I mean, the thing is, and I was much the same way with Patrick when it came to wanting to see Shaw and LaForge get their engineering shit on. It would have been so fucking awesome if they like strode into main engineering in slow-mo to Back in Black, like, I was totally like right there, man. And like, I'm sitting there and, when they started going through, like, ooh, they're in a firefight. Ooh. Now, it hit him. Oh, okay, but it's all right. He's got hit, but he's all right. Well, they'll drag him to safety and they'll figure this shit out. They got one of the Federation's best fucking doctors there with them. No, they killed his ass right there in that fucking in that cargo area or whatever the shit it was. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, he delivers the line like he's dead when he says the line, the ship is no longer mine. He's dead right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, what the fuck is happening? What? And then next he refers to 7 of 9 by her name, and I mean, that to me was the best line of any character in this entire fucking series, hands down. I cried when this character died. I felt so stupid for crying because I don't typically cry at TV shows, but
Not where you're stupid.
Yeah, son of a bitch. They killed him. Like, they blinked his ass. I mean, they couldn't have killed him any faster in that moment. And it hit me. It hit me like a two-tongue envy thing.
They didn't kill him as fast as Shelby, though.
No, I would have been happy if they just reversed that. But that being said, look, I love the character. I mean, obviously, the actor was able to, because he's been a salty old fuck the entire season. And in
He
that
will
moment,
definitely be missed.
and in that moment, he became the most loved character I've seen in Star Trek for a while. I mean, it was a flash in the pan moment. Definitely, whoever thought that was a good idea, you're fucking wrong. But I respect it.
I would have preferred the line to be something along the lines of "I told you so." It's like, I told you shit was gonna go all right.
You know
I
what I mean?
told you at the very beginning.
Yeah, see,
And then managed to get Seven's name in properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
or,
Like,
By the way,
just
you're
like,
Seven.
yeah, just like earlier with Ro, at least the character went out with something rather than just fridged like Shelby.
oh man,
I'm
Yeah.
going to draw on that because I loved Shelby as a character, and yeah, they did her dirty.
I didn't really like the character of Commander Shelby, but I do agree with you. That was some pretty shit move to have a split second vision or view of her getting ganked. Although it would have been funny with the Shaw death, it would have probably been way more bittersweet if he'd been like, "Dude killed me, Seven, killed me with a phaser." Anybody gets the Serenity reference from the Serenity movie, the Firefly movie, where Mr. Universe is like, "Dude killed me, Mal, killed me with a sword." But still, okay. But as Patrick said,
back to the nostalgia.
Yeah,
Let's get to the D.
Patrick said that they had to pare down the remaining crew to the essential characters, which are of the Next Generation crew. It makes sense. And then there's a payoff for that, which of course is the D.
The D. Yeah.
The second D we get in this episode.
You mean like the one that Shelby got when they...
No, damn it. I'm talking about Shaw. I'm salty about it, and I'm not going to...
The third D.
Fine, whatever.
But
call it.
this was the good one. They scraped the saucer section up from Generations, slapped another star drive, and Geordi made a ship.
I knew as soon as they said there's a Hangar 12 that we were going to get the Enterprise D. Like, as soon as they said that, I think it was in Bounty. There's like, oh, what about Docking Bay 12? I'm like, we're going to see the Enterprise D pop out at some point in this season. I didn't think they'd actually use it. I thought it'd be part of the puzzle. But
I want to see the E back in action because I love the Savi. She was a beautiful ship. But no, they put Worf back into, hey, let's make jokes at Worf's expense, and he'll just stand there and look grumpy.
And true, I mean,
we're back to that.
It wasn't his fault. I mean, the only major damage we ever saw the E take is when it rammed into the scimitar, and it wasn't Worf's fault.
And we're going to blank that out because that was in Nemesis.
In canon, I'm pretty sure. In the comic books, Worf was the captain of the Enterprise E for a while. I think they're sort of hinting at that, but I don't read the comics because.
That's right. Yes, I have to go back and look at it again. You are right. He was in the IDW comics. He was captain of the Enterprise E for a while. So perhaps it is his fault, and they're just giving him shit for it. Well, that would be completely appropriate now that I think about it. That Troy gives him shit because so many people give Troy shit for crashing the D's saucer on Viridian 3.
I'd still love to see a line where Deanna goes to sit down and they just go, no, Deanna, you just go sit here. Yeah. Stay back.
Whoa, what are you doing? They stop the whole thing. Like, whoa, what are you doing? We need
back away from the navigation.
Back away from the Alps panel. Sit your ass over there. This isn't Viridian 3, Deanna. Talking about, of course, they talk about, they go on board the Galaxy Class D. They're sitting there all sort of standing around. They're looking at the one thing that got me, which really tugged on my heartstrings, was seeing Mike Okuda's original Elcar's designs come up. As all the panels lit up. I was like, dude, that's fucking sweet. But I thought it would have been even funnier that when all the lights came on and it lit up and you saw everything, if there was a dude right there. Because you guys ever seen the meme where it says join Starfleet? They said you'll see the universe. They said, and it was a dude who was vacuuming the bridge set from the D in the series. He got on it. It's been hilarious if all the lights came on and you just see this dude with this vacuum.
My thing was I was worried that the lights weren't going to go on all the way. I was worried. I was like, turn on the lights, and there's just like a flicker, and it gets a little bit brighter. And then luckily it came right up. But it's just like, don't darken the Enterprise D's bridge, please.
Oh God, yeah. Somebody would be like, it's like it only lights up about halfway, and somebody looks up. Damn it, Metalis!
But yeah, I didn't cry, but I was sitting there and I'm going, it is effing amazing that I get to see all of these characters on that bridge, because destroying the Enterprise D was the worst thing they did in the movies. I love that ship. Like I've got 3 models in my house of that ship. It's the one I grew up on. It's the one I'm most attached to. So when I saw that bridge and that ship and it go to warp, I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, this episode wins just for this scene, just for this.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see it, and of course, it was a very fitting and touching callback. I mean, we are wrapping this up. We are wrapping up the Next Generation reunion tour. So they are going to pull out every stop they can. I'm going to be real curious as to see how they package all this up, because the amount of Jack we got in this episode at the beginning, where he goes on board the Borg cube and the Queen, basically gets him into the bondage situation. I'm curious as to how they're going to wrap this up. I mean, are we gonna get an hour-long episode? Are we gonna get an extended length episode? Are we gonna get Lord of the Rings style endings where there's 15 endings at the end of the episode?
It has to be feature length. You can't build up this much and then pack all the action into 50 minutes. Like that's a Doctor Who ending. That's let's just solve everything by bringing the Doctor in. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, isn't that the MacGuffin ending?
Yeah, well, the Enterprise D is also 40 years old, or nearly
35. Yeah,
like it's an old ship, and it's going up against the entirety of Starfleet. Like, if that ship isn't blown up immediately, it's unrealistic.
Yeah, it'd be funny is after the whole thing is done, and maybe the D is basically they've beaten the shit out of it. You get like Colonel Ty from the reimagined BSG series. She's broken her back. Let's just shove her into a sun. Huh? That isn't kind of morose, but all right, man. What the hell? I'm curious to see how they play it out. There's obviously we still have a few points that we need to basically underscore and put a period on.
So predictions then. Let's get to the end of this.
I have one prediction for the very end of the next episode. It's going to be them on the Enterprise D bridge, and then Picard's going to say, second star to the right and straight on till morning. And then it's going to fly away and we're going to get the signatures of the TNG crew. Because Terry Metalis can't help but put nostalgia in at some point.
Yeah, what else? Well,
at least have Data turn around and says, really, Captain, you had to go with Kirk's line?
Do we think we're going to see like a flashback of Wesley going, "Where's Starfleet? We don't lie."
Actually, Wesley would be the only way they could save the day from what I'm thinking. If he just pops in and does something like that.
I could see it. I totally could see it. I mean, he shows up like, Oh, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It'll be
What
he
the hell
pops
did
in
you
and he
guys
goes,
do?
I love you all. You're my family. Solve the problem, and then done.
Yeah, and they pull a line from Family Guy when Stewie beams in the entire TNG crew, and Will Wheaton and Patrick Stewart are arguing, and he's like, instead of the infamous line "Shut up, Wesley," I think he says "Shut up, Will." So or no, I know Will Wheaton. He's very, very sensitive about people using the line "Shut up, Wesley," and of course, I would never hope that they would use that line again because, quite frankly, it was stupid and pointless, much like seasons 1 and 2 of Picard. But my prediction for the end of the series is that I don't want to say that we're going to lose any of the core crew, because I think that is a disservice to those characters' memories. But I would not be surprised if we lose Data again.
No, if they do that, I'm gonna rage quit.
Yeah,
We've
kill
had-
some other characters.
Like, no, Patrick Stewart. I'm sorry, Picard should be the one who dies, hands
Not
down.
Not like that.
Again.
Again.
Or actually, Worf would make more sense. Dying in honor in battle, that would kind of make more sense.
Ooh, that would be a poetic.
Kill
thought.
half the damn crew. Let's just have bodies everywhere.
Can we just have
They all-
Vanek show back up and pop at random? What about you, Patrick? What do you think it's gonna? What do you think they're gonna do at the end?
We'll pull out, and they'll of course save the day, and then we'll pull out, and there'll be a snow globe. They'll be in a snow globe, and it'll all be in one kid's imagination.
Oh my God! I just was about to say.
I win.
I was just gonna say, what if the very last line, it cuts to an animated sequence, and you hear Mariner saying, "Computer end program." See, guys, that's Crisis at Paradoxus 3.
That would be cool, though. If we got the lower decks crew and they ended with that, that would be cool. And they could do it in they could get them in live action. I mean, they got them planned.
They're
for
doing that for
Strange New
Strange
Worlds.
New Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, have them pop up here suddenly. Why the hell not?
I actually don't know how they're gonna solve this problem. Like, I have no idea. Like, they're on the old Enterprise D. The whole crew's there, but the ship's meant to be ran by like a good few hundred people. Like, it's gonna have to be a little bit convoluted in a sense. It's gonna have to be, well, if we hack into this, or if we get Jack and we use him as a transmitter to transmit to all these other people, it's gonna be something like that.
3 words: Deus Ex bullshit. That's what we're
Yeah.
getting.
So that being said, final thoughts on this week's episode. Trav.
Trigger warning, by the way.
I really enjoyed this episode more than the last few. I'm just trying to go along with the ride now. The only issues I have with this series has always been just too much nostalgia, but seeing the Enterprise D sort of did it for me in a weird way anyway. So I'm hoping, and I said this to Terry Metalis, and it's the reason why he blocked me. I hope he nails the ending, is all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
I'm predicting that's going to fall flat.
Oh dear God.
I'm always in hope.
I was on board until they kept mystery boxing Jack, and then we finally open it, and boy, I'm disappointed. Not unexpected, but disappointed. I feel like Admiral Shelby.
Did you want it to be the Par Wraiths? Is that who you wanted it to be?
No, I didn't. They could just 8 episodes of mystery box, and then it's boring.
The Iconians would have been a good one at the end.
Jesus
like if
Christ.
it was just
That
from
was
the
like
Star
the-
Trek Online game.
Yeah, the longest running freaking storyline we played through.
That was miserable.
Yeah, all of that from one episode of TNG season 1 or 2. Holy crap! I think it's season 2. Holy crap, guys. Well, and the thing for me is you mentioned the Power Raid thing. I kind of wish it had gone down that road, just because to me it made more sense, the whole revenge thing with that side of things. However, I have to be honest and admit that it doesn't serve the ultimate purpose. This last season of Picard has been a complete run of nostalgia, callbacks, nods, you name it. It was
Memberberry pie.
That's right. So going in this direction and bringing in one last encounter with their old nemesis, the Borg, it does make sense, even if I would wish they'd gone in a different direction. However,
Like the Sydney?
Fuck you. That's all the time we got to this episode of Treknicity. Thank you for joining us for this spoiled review of Star Trek Picard. Be sure to check us out on our wonderful socials listed below, and also visit us on our YouTube channel at RegisteredGeeks.tv, where you can look back at the last 9 years of content. I'm Lars.
I'm Patrick. And
I'm Travis. Is that what we're saying?
That's right. That's who you are.
Yep.
And always remember to go boldly and to rock out, which is Spock out. We will see you next week for the finale.